Good morning, East Texas. It's time to rise and shine with the sun. The Grand Saline Sun. Right here on VZTV. Grab your coffee and come join the fun.
Well, good morning, VZTV family. We're back at it, and we got another week to roll on. Did my camera just sort of droop a little bit?
That was him. Keep
going.
going.
Okay. The boy's playing with my dyslexia over here. I sit out of the corner of my eye, and I don't know if it's me or the TV moving, because, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I may start moving. I don't know. But welcome to another week. I hope your Monday isn't too Monday for you. And we got a full panel today. We got some fun discussion. And you know what? I'm going to be the most boring person on the panel today, so y'all just get ready. This is going to be something lively. But before we do that, you know what? I did do me a smoke signal so I could hear my intro. So let's hear that intro, boy. If that don't have you headbanging in traffic, I don't think you got a pulse, baby. Anyway, let me just come at you a little bit of Bert mindset today. You know, I like to talk in analogy, and sometimes it makes sense, and sometimes y'all realize how stupid your host is. But I just want you to know I'm not all dumb. So I got one for you today, and I think it'll help you picture at the state of our country may be in today. I have a fence line in front of my house, and well, the whole time that I was growing up, we fought the trees in the fence line, and then eventually my wife decided she wanted me to let all that brush grow and all that wild stuff grow, because we can't exactly have a tall privacy fence in front of our house, but nothing says that we can't have natural foliage to give us a little bit of privacy in our front yard, so we've been letting them grow. But I have a couple that I do not want to grow in that fence line because they damage the integrity of my fence. So every season I have to go out there and I have to cut them back and I have to kill them. Well, as a country, picture us as a tree. Now, you can go in there and you can cut the leaves off that tree every single year. And springtime after springtime after springtime, you're going to have new leaves come up, new branches sprout. They may come out and the tree may look funky, but you're always going to have green foliage come springtime when it's time for it to grow and everything's right. Those branches and all that pretty stuff that we see, guys, that's our politicians. I want you to know that we get told and we get fed the line that if we go in there and we cut too many branches off, the tree's going to die. And so we sit there and we let these people have careers in politics. I want you to know, if you go in and you attack the roots is of the people, for the people, and by the people. Because if we are truly a system built upon that root structure, if you go in and you start cutting roots, the whole tree dies. It's where you start to attack. Now, we are under attack in our root system, our middle class, our families, our core structures, our common sense. We're all being told that it is invaluable. It does not matter, that we need to give in to the bigger power that will not talk to us, that talks to us through talking heads, that reaches out to us through propagandic 24-hour media. And we are being told that we have to preserve the leaves. And yet the whole time and every word that comes out of their mouth is an attack on our roots. Now, our country is that trunk. That trunk gets stronger and bigger and badder and more resilient and more firm in its stance as long as that root system is well watered and taken care of and nurtured. It does not get stronger and stronger and stronger because of the leaves. Now, yes, there are other benefits to the leaves. That's the blessing of servitude to your common man. When the leaves are doing their job, everybody benefits. But the trunk of that tree is not dependent upon the leaves. It is dependent upon the roots. Our country is a trunk, and for 250 years we have been a strong oak, standing there resilient against all forces that have attacked us, thanks to men that have served on a battlefield, thanks to men that have served our country in politics honestly and with integrity. We are in a time where the leaves are starting to shield the roots and kill the root system off because they feel that they are invincible. They get the higher perspective. They get the high ground. They do not realize that the roots are what pump water to them. And until the roots start saying, you know what, it's time that we preserve our tree, then guess what, guys? We're going to continue to wither away. Now, you have the opportunity to be a strong root system because we still have the vote. You still have ears. You still have a brain. You still have eyes. So, be a strong root system. Quit listening to the leaves who want to be pretty and flutter in the wind. They ain't holding up the trunk. You are. The voter is holding up that tree. So quit relying on the dadgum leaves and start being the root system that our Constitution told us that we were. And that's all I got to say about that. Let's welcome today KEENEN COLBERT, and welcome back to the couch this morning. And I have been wanting to get my friend on the couch forever, and we finally got her here, Miss BRANDI Simpson from the Grand Saline Library. I say that she is the director of the Underground Librarian Council because you know there's always something mischievous going on in libraries after dark. So welcome to the couch, Miss BRANDI. How are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent, thank you.
And KEENEN, thank you for coming back on the couch.
Always a pleasure to be here, man. It's everything that you had just said, and the importance of individuals and voting and paying attention. Like that's exactly what I'm out here trying to do, and have these real conversations with real people that care about their community. So it's always great to be here, man. And I say this as a disclaimer every single time, and I mean, I guess people would really laugh if they heard your and mine personal conversations, because Sure.
we are always ping-ponging back and forth on our stances, and it's proof that you don't have to agree. And I always say this, I'm not advocating for you on your political side or your political career, but what I tell everybody, I don't know if you catch it on the show, but I've said it multiple times, I'm advocating for the kind of representative you appear to be. And that is, you have told me, I want to be on your show. You keep, like you send me texts just out of the blue. Hey, I got this right here, this right here. I want to, after a show, I want to sit down. You've already voiced you want to sit down with Cooley and have a conversation with Cooley. There's so many different opportunities that you're sitting there offering, and then when I say, hey, come on, you're like, come on. So I appreciate that availability among anything else, even though we may not agree. And I bring up old Mike Human. He was the Van Zandt County Democratic chair when I first got into this seat. And he would come into my office and we would sit and talk 2 to 3 hours and walk out not agreeing on nothing but shaking hands, bro hugging, and man. And when he passed away, I literally, even though I did not agree with him, I mourned. And I know that there's at least one Democrat in heaven, because I truly believe Mike Human is up there trying probably trying to sway God from being a Republican, But I loved old Mike Human, and at the same point, even though I agreed more with the Republican chair at the time, I didn't hear from him, and literally just barely heard from him years right before he was elected out. And that's what I was saying. You don't have, you know me, I love a good conversation, a good debate. And if anybody can attest to how off I am, Miss BRANDI knows, because I come in there and talk to her at the library, and I'm like, and I don't expect anybody to think I'm normal, but I have my own processes.
Sure.
And my process here is, I want every single politician in Washington, D.C. And yes, I said Washington. I know I'm a little redneck from Van Zandt County, but I have never been too self-aware as into my impact on this world. I've always thought that I could be that man. So my goal is to change Washington to the point to where I could call up, President Trump, say, hey, I got a couch over here in Van Zandt County because I got voters that want to vote for you. And Trump sit right down there in that couch because, he respects the fact that the little man, the little Mike, has got a big stage. It doesn't matter. You look at the size of the mics that y'all have right there in front of your lips. It doesn't matter the size of the microphone. It matters the size of the speaker.
Yeah.
And, you know, we may be from small town America, but there's more small town America than there is urban America.
Yeah, and this sort of place is exactly what this space, and as well as many spaces that are like it, is exactly where I'm looking to have conversations. Look, I don't want to be around people that agree with everything that I say or everything that I think,
Right.
because I feel like that would be very limiting to just me as a person, rather, like, not even as a candidate, just as a person. I don't want to be around people that, you know, agree with me all the time. I want to be around people that challenge my train of thought or try to introduce me to a new train of thought so we can find something in the middle that could be better. But having those conversations, and I've said it to you multiple times, I say it whenever I go to conservative leaning counties or spaces and stuff, I want to listen way more than I want to talk. Like,
Right.
half the time I hate hearing the sound of my own voice. It's the most annoying thing.
Oh, come on. It's so harmonic. I mean,
That's a nice voice.
it does have a nice mellow baritone that just makes my eardrums
And I
crave
like
more.
that it sounds that way to you, but when I'm editing videos of myself back, I'm like, oh, I'm tired of hearing about it.
I think that is one of God's tools to keep us humble. Was he, even though it may not have been in Moses' day, he knew at some point there would be recorders, and he says, you know what? About the time man starts to really achieve self-awareness, we need to put a dose of humility in there. I want to invent answering machines.
Yeah,
you
put
know,
a mirror towards yourself and just be like, hey, you know
Yeah.
what? This
Yeah.
is who you really are. But those conversations, the conversations that happen here on the show, whether I'm a guest or not, the style you have of being a journalist and asking candid questions and, you know, like feeling out a moment organically, that's exactly the kind of conversation I want to have. And I, for one, I think that every political candidate or elected official should be open to criticism, or, you know, be willing to stand in front of their constituents and, like, be asked and answer tough questions, or be asked questions that maybe they weren't aware of. Like, you can only be in one place at a time. You could only live, well, I mean, ideally, you only live in one place at a time.
Right.
So, you know, they might make you aware of things that were completely outside of your scope. That's important. So talking here is a perfect place to be.
Well, and to me, okay, right now we've got a pretty hot topic going on that I'm working. I worked all day long, which I owe a whole bunch of folks out there apologies for blowing your phone up yesterday. But I'm trying to get the content, the research, and the guest on the show for this week. But we have a really big blow up topic right now that can go one of two ways, and it's all dependent upon one little piece of fact, and that fact is yet to be revealed publicly. But we have the SPCA coming in and taking a bunch of birds, and the ones that are victims or claiming victimhood say that they're preserving a breed line, and it's for stock shows and all this stuff. And the accusers are saying that there's cockfighting going on, which, like I said, that little fine line is as of what the use of and non-use of. But what happened was we had a government agency come in and take personal possession of something, and the way the public outcry is going right now, it's like, do we have the evidence, and was it warranted? And warranted is the word that I say is it teeter-totters on.
Yeah.
Because our liberties, we all have to hold secure. We should hold every liberty we have dear, and we should fight tooth and nail to preserve our liberty.
Yes.
And I do believe that our government should have warranted reason for coming in and doing such things. Now, the birds were returned to the bird owner, and so that has thrown other questions into the fray of this whole thing. And I will say this, and I'm not good at teasing. I'm really not. I'm not. I'm trying to get more polished as we go along in my broadcast career here. But I will say this. It's a very interesting. I've talked to people on both sides of the deal, and people that I trust extremely on both sides of the deal. And I will say that, you know, there's a story here that needs to be discussed. But as we discuss anything, there's a thread of liberty. And people may say, well, hey, y'all got Brandi over there on the couch. What is there talking about? Well, number one, you want to judge your liberties, go to the public library. One of the things that one of the first places that either party attack is our public literature, what goes on. I mean, and you see, okay, in certain areas they talk about transgenders doing book readings, and it's like, hey, this is a public library. To the book content that's on the public shelves versus the content that's on a school library shelf and all that. I mean, Lord have mercy, we've had book burning since the early 1700s they started, or even earlier than that, probably 1600s, since the printing press came out. They've been burning books to preserve the moral fiber in our society, you know. So I mean, honestly, I laugh because, you know, most people think of a librarian, they think of an unassuming individual that goes shh a whole lot. And yet,
and then you meet me.
Yeah, well, I mean, but Grace Lane's had a great history. Kelly Bryant, your predecessor, I'm going to tell you right now, of course, I tell everybody, Bert's a nerd. So, yes, I befriend the library, and it's local. And I mean, and it's funny because I don't check out books. I used to, and then I always told my wife I read so much, and I always said I wanted a library. A library has always been my dream, and if I ever get to the point of, I guess, substantialness, I can actually build me a library. If I ever got it, it'd be empty because I was always renting books or getting books from the library. So. And then also when I did, if I wasn't checking them out, let's say I would buy one, because I'm a John Grisham kind of guy. So I would buy John Grisham's when I would see them in Walmart, and I'd sit down and read it. And then after I get done, I'd go up there to the library and I'd throw it through the door slot so it'd donate to the library. And one day it just sort of dawned on me, I won't have a book for my library. Yeah, I don't have no books for my library. But I am obviously, as a matter of fact, if anybody sees these chairs right here, for the longest they were reading chairs in the library. One of our followers, Miss Hobbs, found these on Marketplace, and the color scheme for our Geronimo Sports Talk is orange and black. No. And she found these. I said, that's perfect. She was letting us use the studio or the library as a studio on Mondays, so we were leaving them in there. And it wasn't until we started over here, and Corbett says, I went by and got the orange chairs, and I told Miss Brandi, I said, I don't know when you're getting those back because we're setting up a studio over there. She says, well, they're yours anyway. And I'm like, I know, but you know, I enjoyed seeing them there, you know.
And they fit. I mean, the chair is perfect.
They are perfect.
They're
and
comfy.
They're, believe it or not, they are very comfy. They come out of a man in Alba. He had them in his man cave. It was a Harley Davidson man cave. And underneath, they're not quite as impressive, but these little Harley orange claws just go right along with the orange and black color scheme that we got going. But that's enough about me, as they like to say. Miss Brandi, I see that you've brought us a whole lot of books here. I don't know, Corbin, did you ever get a camera set up? Okay. If you're on Facebook, you can sit there and you can see. We got a whole setup of books right there that Miss Brandi brought. Some of the selections that you chose to bring and share with us, what are some of the hot topics on the shelves today?
Well, the newest stuff is checked out. So
okay.
I couldn't bring those. But I did bring the most popular book we have in the library. I was shocked that it was on the shelf this morning when I came in to grab my props. The most popular book in the entire library is Itty Bitty Kitty Corn.
Itty Bitty Kitty Corn. Now, tell us a little bit about Itty Bitty Kitty Corn.
Itty Bitty Kitty Corn is an itty bitty kitty, and she so desperately wants to be a unicorn, but she can't be a unicorn because she's a kitty. And then she meets a unicorn who thinks kitty cats are the coolest thing in the world.
Awesome.
And changes both their lives. So
I bet there's a lot of really good life metaphors in there.
A lot, yes.
You know what we may do is once this episode is over, we may have a special pre-recorded edition
story time
from Miss Brandi, and we will read the Itty Bitty Kitty Corn, and we will put it out there. So I know, look, I know half of you adults out there are not brave enough to walk into the library and check it out. Although you want to know how the kitty becomes the kitty corn. So what we'll do is give you a guilty pleasure recording, and we will put it in the video on demand.
It's a teaser.
And I know Ryan Henson for sure is like at home going, yeah, I can't wait till tonight. He wants to read the Itty Bitty Kitty Corn. So we'll get a reading of it. We'll put it up on the app so y'all can hear the Itty Bitty Kitty Corn. So, I mean, and yes, this was child targeted, but you do entertain quite the young audience most of your time. It's either really young or really old. It's like, how is the in-between going in there?
No, you're not.
Non-existent. So what are some of the fun events? Because I mean, when we talk about librarian, again, unassuming, you figure you're sitting around on your phone all day. Just what exactly are some of these? I know you do ballet.
Yes, every Wednesday we have a ballet class at the library. It's called Books and Ballet, and I used to be a dancer. I have a dance background, and so
ballet dancer, not pole.
Correct.
Or did those careers cross paths?
They can.
They can, but they didn't.
They can. Ballet, tap, jazz, ballroom, and hip hop.
You're a tap dancer?
Yes.
Wow, that's really cool.
So, yeah, since I was 5. Yeah.
Hey, Brandy, grab that mic right there next to you. They're saying they can't hear you on the Facebook. Guys, just be careful. There's buttons on the side, so try not to touch the side, just on the front and the back.
Clip it.
Yeah, you can clip it right there. Go to the VZTV app. And if you're watching it still on Facebook, shame on you. We've got an app out there. It's free. It ain't gonna cost your cheap butt nothing to download it and tune in to the deal. Go to the live channel and you can do that. So I know at least one person followed me. 2 people, 3 people went and followed. All right, there you go. Good. Y'all go over to the app and y'all watch the app. But anyway, she did move the DJI to her shirt, so maybe we can. All right, there y'all go. Good followers are going to the app. Or I just I just pissed them off and they're just leaving.
Maybe. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Go for it.
What? Oh, I'm like, what was I talking about? My ADHD.
Hey, amen. That's why we get along.
So it is we stretch and warm up. I have anywhere from 2-year-olds to 10-year-olds. And then we do some ballet basics. We actually have a full-size bar at the library. And we do, we have props, we have ribbons and pom-poms and shaker eggs and little hoops and all kinds of fun things. And then about the time they start to get tired, we have a little snack and they all get their little story time cushions and sit down and I read a dance themed story. So,
and I've been in there when that's gone on. You just do not understand God-given patience until you see this woman. It's almost like wrangling ants. I mean, that's literally she'll have a whole bunch of them that are over there being very studious, and she's got 2 of those, what do you call those bars, that they're doing their little thingy on, and then there'll be 2 of them just over here,
Yeah, I caught it whenever you said 2 to 10, and I was like, ooh, that's such a range of attention span for children.
Oh, yeah.
But, man, what a cool program to have for kids, that's incredible.
Yeah, and of course, it's not just you, because you do have a faithful crowd of minions over there that are over there really pleased that their fearful leaders over here spreading their message on this couch. I see Miss Brenda's watching right now, and I know they're probably sharing phones over there. So go ahead and give a shout out to those helpers and the ones that help you out.
Bonnie Hazel is just a gift from God. I love that woman like more than words can possibly say. Bonnie's there right now. And Bonnie is one of those people that I never have to worry when she's at the library because I know she's going to treat people with the same level of kindness and respect that I would want that I try to treat people with. And then Tisha Knatzer, I don't know if Tisha's watching, but she's probably still asleep.
She's one of my faithful, so even if she may not be watching it now, she's always watching, especially our sports shows. So I know she'll definitely be watching.
And she is the best volunteer. I can't believe that woman does as much as she does without a paycheck. And she is a natural with the children. Children just gravitate toward her. And she does most of my story times because she's much more animated than I am. When I read a story, I give it like quiet and emotion, and I pause at all the right places and give these little dramatic moments. And she's loud and animated and fun, and we're the exact opposite type of storyteller. And so the kids really love her story times, and she does most of the story times at the library. And then Brenda's not doing well right now, so she's out for a little while.
Oh,
but
no.
she's dedicated to.
Oh, we love Miss Brenda.
And Miss Brenda loves everybody.
Oh yeah, she does. And of course you brought up Miss Bonnie. Of course, I know her as Miss Hazel. I've known her forever. I went to school with her son Justin, and she was like a mother to me back in the day when the teachers were like parents to you, and so your parents sent you to the people that treated you like they were parents and all this, and everybody loves them. Some Miss Hazel. I mean, she is just an amazing woman. She looks at me like one of her kids, and she always looks at me when I do something good and gives me that little boost of I did something good today.
I know. She's so good about like telling you when she's proud of you, and like telling you things that you don't necessarily want to hear, but you need to hear. She's sort of become my substitute mom because my mom has Alzheimer's,
right,
and she's not, really there anymore. And but she's alive, and she is difficult. And I come into work like crying sometimes, and Bonnie's just like, it's okay. But no, Bonnie is such a mother to me. She is the person that will tell me like, girl, your roots are starting to show. You need to,
Well, she has raised, working at the school as long as she did, she has raised half the town.
Yes. And like once we were at like this little party at Audra's house, Bonnie's daughter, and they were doing like permanent jewelry and Botox, and someone was doing makeup, and someone did my makeup, and Bonnie came along and she's like, nah, I don't like it, and took me up to Audra's bathroom and literally washed it off my face.
That is so funny. Yeah, typical East Texas mom.
Yes.
I mean, 110%. So I know that it isn't just the ballet. I mean, you got it's especially summertime. This is
it's my time,
because the kids are out of school, parents have to work. They're looking for, which you do have a growing group of homeschoolers that are regular in the libraries. So let's go ahead and we've got a big stage here. We've reached 67 countries from little old Grand Saline, Texas, believe it or not. And so let's homeschool opportunities that some of these mothers that may be homeschooling that think that they need a little bit of communal assistance on the child and the education side of it. What are some of the homeschool things that y'all do?
Well, first of all, we are just incredibly supportive of all parents and their choices in terms of their children and their children's education. If you are sending your children to Grand Saline Public Schools, we love Grand Saline Public Schools, and we are happy to support. If that's not right for you and your child, we are happy to encourage you and empower you. Homeschooling can be one of the most intimidating things you do as a parent, because nobody is good at everything.
Right.
And you think, oh, well, I can't teach my kid math, or I can't teach my kid science, or, I can barely string words together. I don't need to be teaching my kid English. But instinctively, how your kid learns. You have taught them how to use a spoon, for goodness sakes. So how they learn better than anybody else. And so removing the intimidation is probably our, like, where we come in.
And that intimidation is real because, I mean, I'm a college educated man. I mean, I have a professional career that deals in the intellectual arts, and I would have not ever even, I mean, I would have not, because number one, math being my weakest suit, I wouldn't have done my children any, which I didn't do them any good at all. And I do know that, like, many a times with that boy sitting over there behind that computer, he was one of those that needed, because he had attention problems, he needed touch. Like I would tell people, go over, and if not, touch him on the desk, something to bring him back. I said, because if you ever notice him not really engaging, I said, it's because he's lost somewhere in his own head. I said, there was too much time where he was not engaged and his mind has gone in its own direction, and you have to draw him back. And I was always telling them different techniques that I was using at the house, because I'm not a guy that's going to put somebody on Ritalin. I'm ADD. And I do not. I'm so thankful that my parents didn't put me on Ritalin or anything like that. And I wasn't going to do that to him because of a lack of focus. Because I know a lot of times when that lack of focus there, that means there's other brain activity that is healthy. I'm going to say that again. That is healthy brain activity that is distracting that child. You just got to learn a way to get that kid to utilize all the tools in his toolbox instead of trying to dumb him down to where he's only got a hammer in his hand. And I say that. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can zoom this back out so everybody can see everybody. There we go. Almost. Well, there we go. But like I tell everybody, I'm obviously, anybody that's talked to me for 5 minutes, been around me for 15, knows that I'm ADD. There's just no mistaking it, because I'm always like Ricochet Rabbit. Back, if you're old enough, you're probably too young to remember Ricochet Rabbit. It was a cartoon back in our days.
Before my time, yeah.
Yeah,
Bing, bing, bing.
bing, 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 and I'm Ricochet Rabbit, ding, 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 and he was a Western, and ding, 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 and
It's a little sheriff rabbit.
yeah, a little sheriff, and Ricochet being her bullets, but I mean, he was always ding, 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 ding. Anyway, that's the way old Bert's. Well, there's a prime example. What happened? Just right there. I just went Ricochet Rabbit right there. But I tell everybody I can work more hours of the day because my brain works that way. And I, like, some people call it a handicap, I call it a superpower. In my profession, it's a good thing. Now, don't get me wrong. In other professions, that wouldn't be a good thing. Like, directing traffic at a crosswalk for a middle school probably wouldn't be really good for me to get all off in my head, and then not good. So you have to know where you target your thing. I guess about the most detrimental thing I did was me being dyslexic. I went into something that dealt with typing on a typewriter and computers, which that's always made my writing fun, but I've learned to adapt to it too. And obviously very few people notice, because a lot of people say, you're dyslexic? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I didn't know that. I'm like, well, you don't read my articles much, because I guarantee you over the years I have the
spell check has probably been saving you a lot lately.
It does, but it also, a lot of times dyslexia don't just work with letters. It'll work with words or concepts. Like, I will go through and type a full article, and then I will reread it in my proofread. I'm like, why is my conclusion 2 paragraphs before the supporting points? And then I have to go and grab full paragraphs and move them down, because my brain got ahead of itself, and then it swapped concepts in the creative process. And it's just something I've always had to deal with. And sometimes I don't catch it. Sometimes it'll go to a print and I'll start reading. I'll be like, okay, I concluded that in paragraph 2, because I knew where I wanted to go with it, and I wanted to get it out there, I guess. And I didn't catch it until I reread it, and hey, it is what it is. The information's out there. So anyway, back to what the homeschooling part of it. Y'all, what are some of the things that the homeschoolers utilize y'all for?
So one thing is helpful with kids with dyslexia, and that is the Libby app that's available through the library. And they're ebooks, but they have fonts that you can change. So there is a dyslexia font.
Oh, really?
Yes, that is much more easy to read. It's weighted on the bottom, so the lines aren't as likely to jump around.
Ah, okay.
And then my favorite thing about it is, so I have a lot of like photosensitivity issues. And so you can adjust the contrast, and you can do like if traditional black words on white paper jumps around for you, then sometimes the white words on a black background work a little better. What works best for me is like a sepia tone, so it's like an ivory background with brown letters, so the contrast is much softer, and that's easier for me to read.
I tend to do the black and white. That works for me a little bit better. I notice that nighttime especially. What about which you brought it up, ebooks? I mean, used to you went to the library, you went and you found your book, and then you went and checked it out and all that. Now that y'all have so many different tools at your disposal, on top of that, you also provide a Wi-Fi service. So if somebody needs to do a job application, something like that, they now have access to that.
Yes, and the Wi-Fi is open 24 hours. So sometimes there'll be people on the bench outside or in their car outside the library working on something. And so we never turn the Wi-Fi off. And then it's very easy to use like the resources that you're familiar with. So if you come into the library and you want to print something, you no longer have to go to a desktop and log into your email or type it up. If it's on your phone, you can print from your phone.
Right.
So that makes people, that makes things easier for people. And then we have, so many online resources that people don't utilize as much as I would love them to. Like there's testing centers. There's like a high school equivalency center for people earning their GED. Test prep for ASVAB if you're joining the military. All kinds of things. There's homeschool resources on there.
And basically the library that one time used to be a getting place for books is now, I mean, a vast little cornucopia of technology tools that people can use. If you can't afford internet right now, you can't afford gas to get to multiple jobs to apply. Now you can go sit outside the library and turn your car off, roll your windows down, save you fuel, and fill out hundreds and hundreds of job applications without traveling a mile. So you said you had story time. So tell us a little bit about our story times.
So story time is, right now story time's on pause because of the summer reading program.
Oh, okay.
And but in September, story time will start back up, and we have a theme every week. This year's themes for the fall are lining with the themes for the pep rallies. So whatever the pep rally theme is, like there's a Western pep rally, and we've incorporated a Western theme into story time. And we usually do a story and a craft. Sometimes we do, and this is one of my favorite words, a snacktivity.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Love our snacktivities. So snacktivity is something that you can like create and build out of things that are edible. Like you can build like a car out of like little wafers and Oreos, and stick them together and, put a Teddy Graham in there to drive it. And so things like that, snacktivities are like our favorite things to do. And then we also line them up with the like national days, like there's National Sandwich Day or National Cheeseburger Day or whatever. Like there was a National Crawfish Day. And when we have those days, that's when we try to invite people from the community to participate in story time as well. So you did story time for Hug a News Person Day.
Yes, and I even got the best... I got the best book you could ever get. I can tell you, I memorized every single word in the book, and I can recite it to you right now. There were 3 words in your book, Bert. Okay, well, I remember 4 of them. Or, well, actually, 3. Yes, 3. That's right. Okay. Okay. See there, my mind didn't work. It was good news, bad news. Every single page.
Every single page.
And so, like, the whole thing. Now, how is Dirt Fight doing?
He is at my house, actually.
Oh, wow. This is an earthworm that was rescued.
Leftover from, so we had earthworm story time. We read a book called Worm Weather, and I like very hands-on story times. So I'm not going to do a story time about worms without worms. So I went to the bait shop. Well, I didn't. My husband did. and we had little cartons of worms.
Gotta give Scott a shout out.
Scott Ness. And then the children, like, they took home worms and cups. I'm sure my parents were really happy that the library gave out free earthworms. But and one did have an adventure at the Brookshires right after story time.
You got to tell those kids not to eat them, though. Some kids are like, they're curious.
Oh, yes, because we also did a snacktivity, the worm snacktivity with the dirt cup, with the pudding cups and the crushed Oreos and the gummy worm on top. Yeah, so we did a worm snacktivity, but they also got real worms. And it's like, these worms you can eat. These worms you cannot eat.
See, now we need to quit giving out that kind of false messaging. When I was growing up, I don't know how many earthworms I probably ate, and I turned out just fine.
Did you?
I did not have a parent there telling me not to eat earthworms, and so I'm not saying there was or was not earthworms harmed in the making of that story.
Well, maybe we should have said these worms you shouldn't.
Okay.
Straight from the
Hey, man, I mean, before gummy worms.
My brother ate a handful of dirt once, so.
I mean, yeah.
Who hasn't?
Exactly.
Me?
It's just me.
with a quickness too. Me, I have not eaten a handful.
Well, not necessarily a handful, but you know.
If it's a nice snacktivity and you've got gummy worms for kids, that's awesome. When you break out the real worms, that's when it's time for like the disclaimer, because some kids be like, "Ooh," and it's like,
Yes.
And the thing about it is dealing with them as she does, you generally know that kid. And that kid may not actually get the worm. You know, hey, here's the dirt. You know, he's in there somewhere, and then you give the girl next to him too.
Yeah.
You know, because you know she's gonna pet it. And I think Dirt Fight is now. Didn't he have a baby?
Well, yeah. So I have learned so much about worms. So we had several worms left over. And I could have just tossed them in the flower bed or whatever. But I'm like, this is something we can all learn from. So I got a little container, and the leftover worms, there were like 6 leftover worms. So we decided to name them. So Bert got a worm, Dirt Fight. Jeremy Barker got a worm, Jawormy. And
that's pretty good.
Leah Irwin got a worm.
Hometown Embroidery. She's one of our sponsors. Thank you, Leah.
And it's Leah Earthwin was her worm. And people came by and took pictures with their worm. And then I did not know anything about worms. I didn't know they ate. I thought they just ate dirt, but no, apparently not. You have to actually if you're going to keep them in a little box, you need to feed them. So, we bought worm food, and they eat eggshells and all this stuff and coffee grounds. And so anyway, I fed them some coffee, and they do reproduce our worms, our worm population tripled in size very, very quickly. So yeah, he became a great grandfather fast. And but the coffee grounds were kind of attracting fruit flies. So I'm like, I don't want this. And so I took them all home, and they live on a little thingy in my back porch, and they're still alive, and they're still happy, and
still thriving.
Still thriving.
They're not at the library anymore because we have new library pets.
What's the new pet?
It's a kitten.
It must be something in the air, because we now have a new kitten. Well, actually, yeah, technically we have 2 new kittens. One of them,
We got Sushi back in April, and then we got cheese like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, something like that. And so, yeah, we wound up a cat household.
2 and 4 months.
Yeah. So, but so I know that another thing I don't want to, before I forget, you're not just the average librarian with some standard resume.
No.
You have a very interesting resume. How much of
Yes.
that can you share?
What do you want to know?
I want to know all of it. I mean, library is informative. Give me the information. Now, you've been like around, rub some elbows with some pretty impressive folks. So let's name drop some folk.
Okay, so my first like professional library job, I worked at the film library at TCU when I was an undergrad, and then after college I moved to New York City, and I was the librarian at the Museum of Television and Radio, and so we do a lot of events with it's now the Museum of, or it's now the Paley Center for Media, but at the
Right.
time it was the Museum of Television and Radio. And so I got to meet like Steven Spielberg. My favorite was probably Carol Burnett. Got to meet.
Do you know who
Donna.
Carol Burnett is, Keenan?
I do not.
Oh God, she is
Oh,
one of the
dude.
funniest women on the planet.
You have to go, and it's still streaming on, I mean, literally any of the old Tubies and all them. Go look up the Carol Burnett show. You ever heard of Tim Conway?
Tim Conway, I have heard of.
Okay, well,
Okay,
you're
from the Carol Burnett.
yeah, there's a whole world out there that will make your life better. So go find it and watch it.
Yeah, go find some old Carol Burnett show. And my favorite parts of it are when they start to crack each other up.
Oh yeah,
And because it's very, very funny. But sometimes they can't keep a straight face. And one of them will start to crack just a tiny bit. And you'll see it like in their eyes and in the corner of their mouth. And then there's this contagion of where they're all trying so hard not to lose it in a sketch. The dentist sketch is probably one of my favorites with Tim Conway and Harvey Korman, and he's just trying so hard not to crack up through the whole thing. But anyway, and I met Donald Trump, and he's probably the most famous at this point. And yeah, lots of fun people.
and I've always, she first told me that, I said, wow, that is so awesome. Because, I mean, literally, you think librarian, number one, you think of volunteer. I mean, because the local library is right up there with the local newspaper. I mean, there are not too many of them left out there in circulation.
No, I'm a real professional.
Yeah, she brought, and that's what I said. We're lucky as a community to have her there.
Yeah.
I noticed that you have brought us a whole bunch of books here. Go ahead. Number one, what are some of the hot reads of today? You said they're all checked out right now, but what are some of the hot reads? So if somebody wants to come in and put their name on the list.
Okay, the hottest adult book is Frida McFadden's The Housemaid. And I cannot keep it on the shelf. I have 2 copies and a copy in Spanish, and it's constantly checked out because it's really good. The Frida McFadden books are all well written and quick, and they keep you going. And I did bring one. This is one of my favorite Frida McFadden books called Ward D. So she is actually a doctor. I believe she's a neurosurgeon in real life, and deals with a lot of traumatic brain injuries and stuff like that. So this one takes place in a hospital lockdown mental health unit.
What genre would you say she would be?
Psychological thriller.
There we go. I love psychological thrillers.
Excellent book. She has lots of twists and turns that that keep you going.
And I know somebody like my wife who likes to keep her reads sort of on the clean side. Is this, what would you rate it? Is it got adult themes in it? I mean, and I'm not talking about the psychological thriller. I'm talking about the language and the sexuality and stuff like that. Is that a safe read, or is that one of those that Republicans want to ban?
Neither.
Neither?
It's not.
PG-13?
Yes.
Okay.
So she will flat out tell you on her website that she knows people like her parents and grandparents like read her books.
Right.
So there's typically nothing in here that's like super.
That's sort of that's exactly the disclaimer that y'all have heard on this. Katie's heard it 1,000 times. People say, well, I don't want it. I said, look, just think of it this way. My mama watches the show. You know, now my mama knows I'm a little bit edgy, so we're not saying nothing, but I want something that my mama ain't going to call me up and say, Burt Rex, you get that off that TV channel right now. So.
Yeah, so this is nothing that's going to be super offensive unless you're
A snowflake.
really sensitive.
Yeah.
But you know, honestly, if you're that sensitive, itty bitty kitty corn's gonna offend you more.
Yeah. Well, I will say, if you're that sensitive, you may not need to be reading, because the written word has always been some of society's most edgiest
Right.
philosophers, I guess you could say.
And will you hand me the unwrapping, please? Thank you. And then these, The Club and The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley and The Unwedding are all also psychological thrillers, because honestly, that's all I read.
Well, that's sort of like me. I'm a John Grisham legal thriller.
But if you like glamorous, wealthy people being glamorous, wealthy people in really glamorous places, and then they get their comeuppance.
Ooh, that's good. And
These are the Eat the Rich books.
all right. And then there was one that stuck out to us. It's the one standing up right there.
The Odyssey.
Yes, Homer.
Okay, so
My Homer boy.
if you're watching a lot of people are super excited about the new movie. There are, obviously, it was not written in English. I hope we all know the Odyssey was not written in English. So pretty much anything you read is going to be a translation, unless you're like, you know,
Really
read
smart.
ancient Greek,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. But I like this one because it is written like a poem.
Right.
So it is an epic poem. This reads like an epic poem. It rhymes.
Which we believe is its original intent.
Yes, it was an epic poem.
Yes.
There is a newer translation, and that is the one that the new movie is based upon. But if you don't need that version, this is the version we have. This is the version that's free at your local library. And what else do we? Oh, this is fun. We have a complete set of Shakespeare's plays written. Look how thin this is. This is a children's book.
Awesome sauce.
And we have all of Shakespeare's plays condensed as children's stories. And it also, you can scan the back for the free audiobook.
That's really cool.
That
So
is
you can listen and read. It the storyline does not change, so it still has, like, you know, Hamlet still has murder, and
That's what I was sitting here thinking. So Shakespeare's plots were not always kid friendly.
Yeah,
and so
I wonder how they make that
So-
kid friendly. That'd be interesting.
it is it's just toned down a bit, and
a bit.
yeah, so it starts really well with outlining who the characters are with a little brief sentence about each one, and then it is told in short story format. And the whole thing is probably 15 minutes long to read. And if you are getting your kids into Shakespeare, this is great for getting them familiar with the story so that they're not too bogged down by the language
And of course, now
to lose the story.
we say kids book. Now we say kid. A kid at 5 is not going to come in there and grab that book off the
No.
shelf and read that. So I mean, we're talking tween, teen, before it actually becomes school reading. They can come in there. So children's, Dr. Seuss. It's not Dr. Seuss level. It's for a younger, someone that may not be mature enough to come in there and handle the full Shakespearean dialogue. This right here gets it ready. So that's
It gets you ready.
Yeah.
And I love this for adults who think they should have understood this better in high school and didn't,
right.
because Shakespeare is also very intimidating.
Oh yeah.
And it's easy to get so bogged down
Anybody that's
by
taking
the language.
any time listening, like world literature or anything like that, you get into some of the Shakespearean era literature, man, it is
And you don't know what's actually happening.
exactly. You could get lost in the fray and lose the storyline quickly because there's a lot of moving parts.
Yes, so this will get you there.
There you go.
You can read one of these and then confidently talk about a Shakespeare play like you know what you're talking about.
So,
We have all of them, all of the plays.
so what is your most controversial, taboo piece of literature that
We have a lot.
every librarian I know has one that they're like, they don't want us
Like
to have this.
Well, I mean, for a while it was the 50 Shades type
Right.
thing. Now it's this one.
I knew she wouldn't disappoint. She'd bring one to
You
throw
brought
out
it.
there. She'd bring one. There would be one of them.
And it's Verity by Colleen Hoover. It is dark, and it has some very disturbing content. It's not super smutty.
Right.
It's not smut, but it is dark.
Graphic.
It is dark and disturbing.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about this book is it's written from 2 points of view. Verity, the character that the book is named after, is a famous author, and something horrible has happened to her, and she is unable to finish her best-selling series. So her husband is looking for someone to complete it. And it opens with exactly the hook we were talking about right before
Yes.
the show. This is the very first sentence of the book. I hear the crack of his skull before the splattering of blood reaches me.
And for context, the conversation she's referring to, we were discussing how the opening of a book, and he said Keenan made a comment about
You need to build.
you need to build up to it. And I said, I'm right the opposite. I love it when a book comes in and the bullet put the hole in it before he felt the heat of the lead as it flashed. I mean, I was like, okay, what are we into right now? I mean, we're jumping in the middle of a gunfight. There's something, and that's my ADD brain, how it works. So if y'all are like me and you want to jump right into the action and catch up,
It jumps right into the action, and then it only builds from there.
and that's a hard task to pull off.
And it has a twist that you really didn't see coming, and it has this unreliable narrator aspect so that you don't know what's true and what's because they're writers, you don't know what's true and what's a writer's exercise.
Exactly.
You don't know if it's her real thoughts or if it's thoughts for her books.
Ooh, I like it. It's there, and the good thing about books is there is a variety. I mean, like literally where the human mind can go, the plots are out there.
And I will tell you that if you go to the library and you're looking for something on the smutty side, because we know that's people do
there's
like
an audience.
that.
There's
There
an
is
audience.
there. And I didn't bring any today, but they do have a little chili pepper sticker on the spine. And if you're in the
muy
library,
caliente.
if you're in the library and you see a chili pepper, it is a spicy.
It's spicy.
It's spicy. And then, can you hand me the
This one?
Sure, let's go with that one right
Martha.
And,
It's funny, her book is green.
And
This
the
one?
birds. Thank you. And the wildflowers. So if you're like me, if you're a person of a certain age that is now starting to get into your grandma area, then you start to like your old people hobbies.
Yes.
So if you want to learn about wildflowers, you can identify the wildflowers in your neighborhood. If you want to learn about birds, this is our thing right now.
That's my new thing, birds.
Okay. Birds is my husband's thing. So now he can recognize, birds from very far away. And we have the binoculars on the back porch where he, looks at his little birds, and he has the app, and, he'll come in and say, "Do you want to hear the red-tailed hawk?" And he's just like playing it on his, and I'm like,
I mean, birds
That's
are,
nice.
and I'll just say this brief thing because I want you to definitely explain some more of these books. But the birds are, in my opinion, especially fascinating. And I realized there was a moment when I realized how fascinating they were when I first traveled outside of the U.S. For those that don't know, I was active duty Marine Corps. I served 8 years in the United States Marine Corps. And my first deployment, going outside of the country, I was walking down. I was walking down the street on base, and I just noticed that birds sounded different. And outside of my time in the military, I spent my whole life in Texas, where you only have so many kind of types of birds, or maybe you travel outside of the state and you might go to a zoo or something like that and see different species. But I just noticed that that day that I was walking, and I was like, these birds sound completely
these
different.
Are not my
than,
bird sounds.
Yeah, it's a completely different sound to what I was always accustomed to growing up. And I was like, I never thought about that before. I always thought that birds sounded a certain way, or obviously they come in many different shapes and sizes and colors and things like that, or there's different levels of intelligence of how some birds can solve puzzles and some can talk and things like that. But when you hear a completely different sound that you've never heard before, I'm like, what is that? So it's very interesting.
Yeah, they are, and this one is a Texas bird guide, but you can get even more specific. And the birds of East Texas are very different than the birds of West Texas, and this has little maps, where you can find it.
And I
like this bird, the western kingbird, is not really going to be right there. It's going to be.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
I've gotten into, of course, my birds are chickens. I got a whole flock of chickens, but I really love wildlife, and me and my wife have binoculars tucked down in the side, so when we go out somewhere and we see something, we'll break them binoculars out. But I will say, most people know I did time in TDC because I was a dumbass, and I got to see the world through a little box once I got to my unit. And I'll tell you, birds out there, I watched them come through, and I told my wife while we were in there, I said, we really need to get into bird watching because these things are really neat. And I was even the guy that would sneak bread from chow back to my spot so I could throw it to the birds outside. And of course the birds knew because we all did it. And so they knew what time it was, because you wouldn't see a blackbird nowhere around. But when you get chow time, we'd come back in there, and them birds would start showing up. And then the next thing you know, you couldn't see the ground because I'm sitting there eating all the bread. But so is the library something that y'all struggle to stay afloat? Like, you have to fight for your existence? Or is it something that the community's really they see your value and they appreciate it?
right now, I feel like the city sees our value and appreciates it.
That's good.
We are a city library, so most of our budget does come from the city. We do have a lot of library supporters.
That's
Over there.
and why I say that is because there's a lot of libraries out there that a lot of towns out there that don't have libraries anymore.
They don't.
And the written word is something we need to cling to because it's becoming less and less mainstream. And this is the archives. This is what our past. That's where it was preserved. And the more we sort of purify our past, our libraries are falling to the wayside just like newspapers are. And I think it. Like I said, I hats off. I mean, it can't be an easy task to head up something like that.
It's not. And the thing to remember is how much libraries are evolving. There is an entire generation that still, when you think about the public library, you think about this place that's just a musty old building full of books, and I'm over there with my hair in a bun and my glasses on my nose, shushing people all day. And what we actually have is a library that is vibrant.
Right.
And we have a lot of different types of people. We have a lot of families, and we have a lot of kids activities. 10 years ago, if you asked hey, would the library host a foam party? Somebody would have said no.
Right.
But if somebody asked me, a few weeks ago at the beginning of summer, hey, do you guys want to do a foam party? I'm like, yes.
Most deaf.
And I did.
And y'all, and y'all have the critter teacher come in there. I mean, y'all have different.
Yeah. So this year we had a glow-in-the-dark magic show. He wore this little glow-in-the-dark suit, and all the things he juggled and did also were lit up, and it was pretty cool. And then we had a reptile guy, and the kids got to touch and hold, and kids don't get the opportunity to get this close to an alligator or a snake and know that interaction is going to be safe.
Right.
And then we did, what else? We did storytelling. We like interactive storytellers that get the kids involved in the process. And we had Cody Gottschalk come and talk about the weather and the science of it, and do some experiments with the kids. And we had the foam party. We had a build your own Sunday bar, and this Friday is our last summer program, and we have a scientist.
Sweet.
Yeah. So we try to do a variety of activities that pretty much not everybody will enjoy every activity.
Right.
But there will be something for everyone, and it's always something educational or something that will spark interest.
Right. And of course, I know you've got to get back over there. They're keeping the library afloat for you. So what are some of the things that y'all have coming up? School's about to kick in, and the summer programs are ending. So give us a little bit of a foreshadowing of activities that are about to kick off.
Of fall. Well, tonight we have a big activity. We so the community pool hosts a family night every Monday. The Friends of the Library is sponsoring this one for us, and we're hosting it. So the library staff will be there for the activities, but instead of, I think it's $5 per person to come to the pool for these things, the Friends of the Library is picking up the admission fee, And if you have a public library card, you get in free. If you don't, it's only $1.
There you go. So see there, if you have nothing going on tonight, go down to the Grand Saline Public Pool. Get you a library card if you don't have one. I've got mine in my wallet still to this day. I've never had to brandish it. She's never asked my identity, but
I don't for most people I know. If you come to the library like 3 times, I pretty much know who you are and just pull you up. But yeah, and it's a glow dance party.
A glow dance party.
Yeah, so we're doing karaoke, and then we're doing a dance off with kids versus parents, and we're doing dance telephone, which is one of those fun little games. Like, do you remember playing real telephone when you were a kid, where you whisper something?
Oh yeah.
And then by the time it gets around the circle, it's completely different. So we're doing that with dance moves.
Oh wow. So yeah, that could be fun.
It could be fun.
That could be real fun. Well, I know before we kick and change topics, Corbin said he wanted to do something. You pulled your mic up?
Yes. So hold on, let me turn down my gain because it's pretty high.
So he had a blind reveal for us.
Yes, I have a teamwork type of activity because we have a librarian and a political figure. Trump posted an AI video, and I want y'all to depict any hidden messages, symbols. It's a Rick
Interesting.
It's a Rick and Morty.
He did an AI of
Yes,
Rick and Morty?
yes, he
I
did.
love that show.
And so the first thing you see is obviously Diet Coke and a hat. So
That's his thing.
So
One
the
of
thing
them.
is, y'all need to figure out the theme, what it means, this hidden symbols, hidden messages, Easter eggs, and I'm gonna have y'all teamwork to tell what it's about.
Okay. I can't believe this is real. Oh my God.
What the?
Yeah.
So
It's ridiculous.
Okay, so clearly this is the 1 + 1 + 3 is.
Do y'all think he's really going to go for the third term? He's playing with people's minds.
Well, he thinks he already won 3 terms.
Well, yes, but
Yeah, at the correspondence dinner,
But
he said he's
see-
running for a 4th term.
Yes, he did say he was running for a 4th.
yeah, well, there's only 2 that he won that he got to do.
Tell him
Tell
that.
his staff
Well,
that.
no, don't get me wrong. No. I'll
He
tell you right now.
doesn't- he
There's
doesn't
not
know,
enough.
Bert.
I'm just letting you know. There's not enough argument there for either one of y'all to even open you because there's enough proof out there. I'm telling you right now, some fish is going on during that 2020. But
Okay.
he only got to act as president for 2 terms,
So
and so that's my thing.
my
is,
mother thinks she is the Queen of England, and she thinks everyone is stealing her underwear. Now, she believes these things with her whole heart. That doesn't make it true.
Does
Well,
she know that
just
the queen is...
She is the queen.
Oh, okay.
Period. You cannot convince her otherwise. Oh, she also thinks I've been shot and both legs. And yeah. So you cannot convince her that these things are not true because they are 100% true in her head. And I think that third or technically second election that he won, he truly believes this with his whole heart.
Well, I believe he was told, but I will tell you this right now. I personally believe there was enough cheating going on out there. I look at the candidates it was between, and I'm not a lover of nobody. And y'all know I'm not a backer of Trump. I am. He is not sending me Christmas cards. I promise you that. I'm just going to say right now, that one right there ain't nobody got the right to say nothing because there's enough bull crap on both sides and I've seen enough proof. I think there's some crooked crap going on. Our electoral system needs revamping and in some major form or fashion because there were stolen votes there. There were manipulated votes there, and I couldn't tell you the exact number, so I can't tell you exactly. But yeah, I saw that.
So I'm torn on what I want to respond to because on the one hand, like you what you just said, it is like it resonates with a lot of people that are concerned about like election fraud and like the security of elections. I mean, even my own opponent has his own opinions about the validity of elections and wants to, like change the process to where many things are done manually and things like that. But when it went to courts, many courts that had, You get what I'm alluding to. Like when it went to courts, many of which were led by Trump-appointed judges, or in Trump-leaning, like Republican-leaning states. Like how many court cases did they win? 0, right? Like, and as a candidate and as a just as a citizen, right? I find it kind of funny that the only times under Trump administrations, the only times in modern history where we've ever had serious debate about election integrity was when he was in office. And we have a literal audio recording of him calling the governor of Georgia and asking to find 11,000 votes, mm-hmm. right? The only times we've ever had concern about election integrity is when the lifelong cheater is in office. Right? Like this isn't the first time he's ever run a con. And when you take it to court and you go to discovery and have those facts and findings and you lose everywhere, you weren't crying Trump wasn't crying election fraud in 2012. He wasn't crying it in 2016. He wasn't crying it in 2024. But the one time that he lost, I mean, there's some conservatives right now that are crying election integrity, and we haven't even started voting yet, right? And it's really simple for me.
All right, yeah, but see, and this is where something my mama told me a long time ago, and you young man have not learned it yet. When you point a finger at something, how many are pointing back at you?
That's exactly what I'm pointing out, though.
Well, I know because you got a D behind your name, feller. And I'll tell you right now, until you have that I don't care what party you do, a party affiliation.
Sure.
Until you start calling out everybody. And that's a problem I have with that gum party titles, is when you go to make your arguments, you sit there and you turn and you look at the Republicans over there, blah, 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 blah.
No. Let me look at the camera and say, this isn't me advocating for that, like Democrats or Republican does it better. This is in terms of integrity.
But I'm talking about every dadgum politician that loses a race. It don't matter if they're running for dog catcher. When they lose, the other person cheated. And there's national level, state level, people on both parties saying the exact same dadgum thing. Now, where I differ is when I see votes being brought in by pack mules. And I saw the videos. I've watched the documentaries on both sides of the party. The people saying, "Oh, well, what you're seeing is somebody mailing in, coupons for their Big Macs." That's bull crap. We all know it's bull crap. And just like on the other side, him saying, "Well, it was stolen from it." Well, guess what? It was, but they won. That don't matter. They played the game better than you. Now, you can look at the two candidates that were lined up there and you tell me which one won and which one didn't. And if you think the better man won, look at the reaction across the nation. I'm just saying, there was foul play afoot.
Very valid point, and a Democrat is telling you that. However, look at the response of the nation now, right? Like if it is the kind of politics that as a constituent that I never want to see anyone play is cheating to win or not accepting the results of an election. You can challenge the results, and he did, and he went to court.
How many times did you say Hillary Clinton in your little diatribe, sir?
Hillary?
Yep.
What about her? She lost.
But they cheated. They cheated. It's on video. It's played on
I
loops.
wasn't saying that.
No, but you've said Trump 15 times, and a gal with your name tag said the same thing. You never threw mud back over your shoulder. That's what I'm saying. You always doing this at the other party when you got fellers back here. Get him, get him, get him. They did the exact same crime. You should turn around and throw mud at her too.
If you're going to say they cheated in the election, do exactly what Trump tried to do and take it to court. But when the findings come out and when the rulings come out, number one, what you shouldn't do is incite an insurrection.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Like that injures people, that gets people killed.
Again. January 6th was peas and carrots compared to half the nation getting burnt down because you don't like something happening in the dadgum court system. And you're pointing at a January 6th insurrection.
Yeah.
And you don't sit there and point the fingers back over your shoulder at the Democratic jerks that are burning down cities. It's all the same freaking thing, and you're calling one of them okay, and the other one an insurrection. We've got to start looking at it like this. Both of you assholes, and both of you need to quit acting like assholes and start acting like civilians. And until we start throwing the fingers at both of them and quit just trying to make you point on that guy and ignoring that guy, you see where's Bert pointing? Where's Bert standing at when I'm pointing? I'm standing in the middle. I
see exactly what you're saying. But here's what.
But that right there is why.
Well, that's what I'm trying to clarify. Here's what I'm saying. When you talk about, first off, he's the one who played the clip about Trump, right? So this is the first time I've ever talked about Trump on my entire campaign because I'm a state candidate. Nothing has got anything to do with me except for time to vote generally. When we talk about Trump and somebody who is conservative leaning, right, which to me is fine. Again, conversations I want to have. When you criticize him, then it's, but what about? Well, we can either have the conversation about 2020 or 2016 or 2024, but when you talk about one, talk about one. And
if you were to have been James Cooley and I'd have been sitting here doing this same thing, because I'm already irritated because I didn't know that was coming. Corbin threw it up there. Mm-hmm. But I'm irritated because he said the White House posted that crap. Now, to me, and Corbin left it up there for way too long. I hated it sitting up there because it just burns my ass. He had the dadgum alien up against the car in cuffs with CBP on it and stuff like that. And to me, that kind of bull crap's why I don't like Trump. And if it had been Cooley sitting there defending that bull crap, I'd have sat there and done the same thing because that's propaganda. That's bull crap propaganda, no more than the freaking other propaganda you and I have disagreed on and the other thing. And it's sort of the same thing. I believe that you're eating in the propaganda when you sit there and you point at Trump and you don't bring it. We need to start addressing our politicians as our politicians. Yeah. And when we start talking about an issue like not accepting the results of a campaign, say just like him and him and him and him, and quit picking one guy out of the lineup and saying it's him because I don't agree with him. I do agree with that one. So I'm just going to, and that's why I said when I'm pointing at this guy and I'm pointing at that guy, I'm standing in the middle, and that's where I believe we ought to be voting from. But when we sit there and we have both of them doing this way or both of them doing that way, then we're not in the middle anymore. We're on one side or the other, and that's my point I'm trying to make. I hear then the Democrats talking about that dadgum not accepting the vote. They talk about the insurrection. Both of them were stupid. Don't get me wrong. I'm in the middle. Remember, I'm pointing at him too. But then you've got politicians on your side sitting there saying that this was stolen, this was done. I mean, Lord have mercy, after Trump won, you saw the meltdowns and the cries of foul play and all that stuff. It played out on both sides. Both pieces of bread on the top and bottom are the same. They're both white and they both rounded with a crust. They look exactly the same on both sides of the bread. And it doesn't matter if this side's sitting there saying it and this side's sitting there saying you got to recognize the bread for the bread, or you're going to have meat in one side of your hand in a sandwich. If they sitting over there not accepting the outcome of the votes, just like this one is, we need to start pointing at both of them and saying these guys need to start accepting it and quit this whole picking one guy over this guy. I don't like either one of them saying it. It's stupid on both sides of the thing. Just like I don't think it was smart to go in there. I done told y'all about the insurrection. Don't go in there and take selfies in the White House and not expect to get, in the daggum in the halls and expect not to get arrested. And, what happened? Just like you can't go out there and burn 15 city blocks because you don't like an abortion bill passed or a gun control bill passed or a verdict in a court, and everybody say, well, this is peaceful demonstrations.
Yeah.
It's stupid on both sides. Both of them are white bread.
Can I explain? Can I respond to both? Because I think that you and I, we're saying the same things, just a different way. Like, I agree on both things that you're saying. I just acknowledge that they're two different things, right? Like the difference between an insurrection trying to overturn the results of an election is different than a riot or protest in a town.
Negatory, good buddy. You're breaking up. Wrong. Because
I agree, though.
Both of them are political moves. Because, this one over here is both of them being held by citizens, number one. When you have politicians and y'all say that Trump enticed the deal. Okay, he no more enticed that than you got AOC and all them boys out there calling that a peaceful demonstration when there's freaking cars on fire and buildings on fire and looting being done. Both of them are bad. Both of them are bad justifications. And when we sit there and say, well, his justification is worse than this justification and this justification is better than this justification.
Oh, I'm not saying one's better or worse. I'm saying they're different, because the difference between Well,
guess what? I dropped 2 turds in the toilet this morning. Both of them are different, but both of them are Corbin beep.
But what I'm saying, the end result of what the insurrection could have completely changed the trajectory of what was later proven in court to be a secure election result. A riot is not going to change your representation in the White House. That's the difference. It's the end result.
It doesn't matter the dance moves you put on the dance floor as long as you're keeping the rhythm, brother. And what you're seeing is they've given you your flavor of riot that you can okay and accept. And your
I've
flavor
never
of
accepted riot.
But you are. It's different. By doing that, you're saying one's better than the other.
No,
okay,
I'm not.
Then why not point out the whole action? That's what I'm doing. I'm pointing out the whole activity. But you're speaking more on the one that you don't agree with.
I'll still write down in the barrel and say it. Look, I have participated in a number of peaceful protests in my life.
As if I.
Peaceful protest being the key. I do not ever support any violent protest of any kind ever. It's not okay. It's never okay.
Okay.
Like, the First Amendment is very clear.
Now, this is all good and dandy in front of VZTV sitting here on the couch when there's not a riot going on outside.
Sure.
Are you saying them same words when LA's burning?
Yes.
When California's burning? Are you saying them same words?
The exact same words, even when I was in California. Those exact same words.
When you're sitting there trying to, I guess, border up the election processes so that they are more secure and more indicative of the population's desires, not corporate desires. As you're going and shoring this up, are you going to attack and approach it with just, okay, I've got January 6th in my head, and that's how I'm going to approach my shoring up? Or are you going to approach it with, I've got 2 parties that have lost their freaking mind when they don't get their way? And then you shored up with all potential disasters in mind instead of just one. Because as long as you're leaving a back door for somebody to come in.
It's the latter 100%. And I've spoken to many election workers like that are local to us to have those kind of conversations. I've never worked an election before, right? But I've met plenty of people who have and had those conversations. And there are people that are very uninformed about the behind the scenes of what keeps an election secure. Right? But when you create conspiracies or rumors or spread misinformation, the average person doesn't know the amount of work that comes into because let's say,
have you ever called Trump a Nazi?
No.
But yet your party's dialect. That's the same thing. Everything you're talking about is exactly what's done on a daily basis through the propaganda. We're talking about one little facet. Okay, when you rip a piece of paper, you're ripping a piece of wood.
Sure.
I'm only ripping a small, minute piece of that wood, but I'm still ripping a piece of wood because it is now to the point that it has been shredded and manipulated to the point that 2 fingers and a slight little tug can rip a piece of paper. Go back to my when I talked about the country being a tree and stuff like that. When we get to arguing, 1 finger over here, January 6th, January 6th, January 6th. We got the other side over here, L.A., California, anytime Democrats don't get their way. And we start doing this right here, what are we doing? We are not looking at big pictures. We're arguing over little bitty, minute, in the grand scheme of things, little bitty topics. And what does that do? It just continues to tear and tear and tear until now you have 2 half sheets of paper.
Yeah, but like I said in the beginning, I think you and I agree. We're just saying different things. Like on the topic of January 6th, I think you and I agree. On the topic of riots across the country,
you and I do not agree on January 6th.
Okay, sure.
I would tell you, nobody agrees with me on January 6th.
So we would probably agree at the very least that a violent protest anywhere is not
period.
okay.
Yeah, protest. You're right. Now, I am the kind of person that I believe this country was written for, and every corner we turned was done by and for our own blood. And so, therefore, until we start taking it as serious as that, we are going to get manipulated, period. And when I say that, we got to understand it's our livelihood that's on the line. At one point in time, we would have men that would put their lives on the line to right this country. Until we get men passionate enough about righting this country to the point they will take action, and I'm not talking about violent action, I'm talking about any action, period. Our cancer is inactivity. Today, our American cancer is inactivity. So it allows people like Trump to say, oh, this is not good, this is not good, and then a bunch of people storm the Capitol. We got Democrats. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. And the whole party is now Nazis. You know, now
you know what's crazy about this entire conversation? Like this whole thread of conversation started with simply the 1 + 1 + 1 = 3 thing. And there were so many other things coded in that. Like I also didn't like the alien thing because you're talking about
get to the
people.
alien
yeah,
thing.
And Corbin.
I wasn't here when we watched the video.
Well, Corbin brought it up. He said in the fact check, it was the White House that posted it, not Trump, but the AI was made by Trump is what Corbin's saying. That's what he looked up. But what I don't like is, okay, Trump is supposed to be a unifier. And don't you dare come back with saying that anything that we've had from the Democratic Party has been a unifier either, because it hasn't been.
That's clearly not unifying.
Well, exactly. Well, and there ain't nobody on the other side of the aisle that's been unifying either, and that's what I'm saying. That is not just Trump's voice. That is Washington's voice. That's how I look at crap like that. Now, it irritates me, period, not just because of Trump, but because that could be put out and there will be a facet of people that will look at that as presidential. Now, I will say the same thing about the Nazi comments and all that bull crap that goes on, and it goes on about MS-13 if they're coming across the border, and if they got brown skin, they're terrorists, and just like over here, you're a Nazi, you're a Hitler, or you're a this, or you're a that, you're a phobic, or you're a ist, you know, it's toxic crap like that, and toxic conversations like that irritate me, because you're a person of the written word. Every word in that book carries a story to the end. If you fumble and stumble anywhere in the midst of that and words fail to do their part, you do not get to the end of the book because you shut it up and put it down. It is a failure as a read. We as a country need to get past this. Well, I like the front. I'm only going to read the front parts of the paper or the page because I don't like looking at the other side of the paper. So I'm just going to read the things that are on the front side of the pages. So I'm just going to read 1, 3, 5, 7, all the way through the book. What kind of message are you getting out of that book? Are you going to get the same story as if you read every single page that's in that book? Our political dialogue has become, some people read the front side of the page, some people read the back side of the page, but ain't a damn soul out there getting the whole story.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm here to do. And like I said, and that's why I get passionate, because I am a true believer, not only in the free press, but the written word. And guess what? I got zero. You can see it right there. 0 viewers on Facebook right now.
Because I hope they all downloaded the app.
Because, well, that's probably because I done irritated a bunch of folk. because I am the kind of person that believes that the written word needs to be, well, you said it. Words mean something. I brought, gosh, I can't tell you how many times I've brought that exact sentence back onto this show. Words mean something. And to me, they mean something said no matter the lips it passes through.
Yes.
And I believe that until we start looking at that kind of crap right there as what's coming from Washington as our voice up there, I don't care who's in office. That is the kind of rhetoric that's being thrown down our throat, either in AI videos or by Nazi tags and racist tags and bigotry tags and all that kind of tags. It boils down to Miss Edie Boo sitting right here on this couch saying that a man that was obviously witnessed stabbing another student over a scuffle under a tent at a track meet was not a jury of his peers because they all didn't have the same color skin. And we're not looking at each other as a jury of Americans sitting there judging that boy in 2026. And when I say we can't say that in 2026, man, yeah, I think I got a right to start kicking and screaming. We ain't doing it right.
Sure.
Because words ain't meaning nothing no more.
But I think one of the bigger problems with something like this that we just saw is the three of us sat here and looked at this and went, what the heck did I just see? And on some level, we all went, this is not acceptable. Yet so many people are looking at that exact same video going, that's funny.
Oh, yeah. Well,
That's and not only is it funny, it's acceptable. And the more you see and the more you hear that dehumanizes people and makes them look like little alien from outer space and dehumanizes his Democratic opponents and turns them into aliens and robots and whatever that was that we just saw. The more we see that, the more acceptable it becomes.
And can I just point out one thing really quick? Go ahead.
I want to throw something out there. Now, when was the last time you watched any sort of Saturday Night Live?
Not in years.
All right.
I couldn't even tell you half the cast.
I'm telling you right now, they do the exact same with real people that freaking they do that he's doing right there. That's what I'm talking about. It is the whole political narrative.
But that's what they've done their entire...
But no. They target some more than others. If you can't look at that and be honest with yourself, then again, you're reading one side of the page. What I'm saying is...
they did that with Gerald Ford years and years ago.
Well, look.
Actually, Trump did Saturday Night Live one time.
Yeah, he does.
Every single president.
Okay, they parody, but they've done things across Trump because Trump... To me, that's infighting because Trump and them are all part of the whole inner thing. And then all of a sudden, when he stepped away, it started all that. You look at a lot of the freaking stuff that's being said that's done in videos just like that, where they sit there and they really play up on the pedophile. They play up on stuff that has not been proven. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm totally believe we have there. I don't believe there's too many senators up there that weren't in the files. And the reason why another one of the parties have ever dropped them is because both parties are
everybody's in it.
So that anyway. So don't.
Oh yeah, I want a whole clean house. Release that.
But what I'm talking about is they use the same vile kind of manner. And if you can't see it on the liberal side as well as the conservative side, it's both sides are bad. And like I said, it doesn't do no good to only run out one pest and not run out both sides of the pest. That's the reason why I like I said, everybody calls me a libertarian, and they almost say it like it's a bad word. And I can't go libertarian because I believe, well, my fellow man is too damn stupid to think constructively and protectively. I've got to take care of my fellow man. So I can't say let's go libertarian because, I mean, Ryan Key was one of those, hey, defend your own fence line and we good. I'm all for that. Defend your own fence line and we good. I would love if we get back down to that. But unfortunately, and I'm not talking to any of my real neighbors that are out there that literally share a fence line with me, but my neighbor is a fool. And if I don't want fools running it for the rest of us, then I'm going to have to say, okay, we need to have some sort of guardrails and some sort of boundaries. Now, we can talk this or that on who's right and who's wrong, and I'll tell you right now there should be a disclaimer. Bert's an idiot. I am. I'm just a big-mouthed idiot with a freaking TV channel, so I'm going to be as loud as I want to be.
And you can.
But I would tell you right now, I'm outnumbered in this room. I mean, by the three people that you see on camera, I promise you, as in politically, philosophically, I differ in probably most areas on most and more on some and all that.
I can tell you're not outnumbered from me. I spend all day, all year long thus far, talking to people to try and work for you.
Well, you decided to jump into a pretty conservative district and say, I'm going to be a Democrat. I'd go, and I'm harsh, like I said, and Corbin probably could tell my skin started crawling the moment he put that daggum video up there because he wanted to do a blind react. He knows how I am with Trump.
The fact that they posted that, so.
Well, no, it ain't even that. I mean, and I know it makes for good TV, but, that kind of stuff right there is why I started VZTV. I don't look at that as civility. I don't look at that as proper or anything like that. And I literally even sent him over a message because he froze it. And I said, pull that down. Because the more I was sitting there watching it, the more irritated I was getting sitting there looking at it. I don't mind the man tweeting. I really don't.
No.
Because I'll tell you this right now, and I guess in some sort of way that right there is sort of transparent in some areas of his life. But to me, personally, I don't mind the man tweeting because if the man's an idiot and he's going to run his mouth, again, I don't go in here and challenge everybody that sits in this seat. I give them enough rope to hang themselves, so to speak. If you want to say you land on the moon and put the first boot print on the moon, then you go for it. When somebody comes in there and says, and no, I know the fellow that did,
I wonder how Diet Coke is going to have to respond because their thing is like right in there, and honestly, through the whole thing that we watched, there were aliens and monsters and spaceships, and there were aliens and monsters and spaceships, and yet when I think about that video, the most the most fictional part of it was seeing like Trump sprint. Man, ain't no way.
Oh, bless his heart.
Hey, again, shall I point out?
He's in the best presidential shape ever. No other president has been in better shape.
Hey, well, you know what? I know one that he's not in better shape than. Joe Biden. Biden would do push-ups around. I mean, good thing Trump doesn't go out there and meet Biden behind the shed because Biden would... wait. Depends, I mean, come on, guys. Don't even Trump would put y'all in the ground, and it. He works more hours of the day than the average fella, and I know this. But like I said, I've watched documentaries on the man. Not a fan. The man works more hours than the average bear and is doing more and does more things in 24 hours than 4 or 5 guys out there. And I would probably this. Matter of fact, it depends on how they vote. If it was Democrats, he probably does more than a half a dozen or a dozen Democrats. So I'm just saying the man's got admirable traits. Now, crap like that.
And he clearly doesn't sleep because what time was this posted?
Well, we can say, more than likely, if he's out there creating it, that's when the sleep delusions start kicking in. This is going to be funny. I see him sleep in
press conferences all the time. So he's getting it in whenever he can, just probably at some of the wrong times.
Well, I quit watching CNN, fella. I'm just telling you right now. But I've seen enough broad picture stuff to know that this man does not stop. And I believe it's narcissism. I believe it's 110%. I'm not going to defend the man, but I'm saying he does a work schedule that put 90% of men out there in the ground that are criticizing him. He's getting more done than the average citizen out there. He stood up and he's taking heat. This ain't coming easy for him. He's been under attack ever since he even thought about running for political office.
He's having fun.
Oh, he is. He's loving it because you know why?
Attention.
No, you know me just as well as anybody. Now, you know the haters that I have because you and I know each other. We from the same town, know each other really well. Now, do not think old Burt Rex fight. If there was not a thought of old Burt becoming president of the United States and just really doing anything that could just really make my haters just lose sleep at night, Burt's spending 23 hours a day doing exactly that. And I'm going to try to cram 8 hours of sleep in 1 hour so I can get up and start it again. And I'm having fun the whole time. And I'm just telling you.
And that's what he's doing. He's having fun.
So he's a man.
He's antagonizing people. He's having a blast.
He's a freaking man. I get that. But where I talk about the narcissism part, I believe the narcissism want to put my name on everything. And instead of, I think it's more of I'll show you instead of where I think focus ought to be as what serves you. And now he serves his certain constituency tried and true. You know, it's just one of those, like you tell a little child, you know, you did a good job when you saved the cat. And then all of a sudden that little child, every cat it sees, it runs and grabs it, comes, look, I saved. That's how Trump is. He's got his people that have been speaking in his head. They say, oh, you're doing a good job. And so he goes out there and he does everything really extreme so he can get the praise of those that help him. And he knows by default that makes the people that hate him mad, so he does it more. It is like we've said before, one thing doesn't have to be false for the other to be true. And like I said, even though he's doing a whole bunch to piss a whole bunch of people off, there are some good things that have been done. And I say that same thing about the auto pen that we had in office the last 4 years before Trump, and you know, Obama before that, you know, Clinton. They all had their good aspects. They all had their bad. You know, we can't completely just write people off just because we don't agree with what they believe.
Sure. Yeah, like, and it's I guess it feels a little different to me now that I have the lived experience of being a candidate, even on a at a state scale. But I would hope that anyone is critical of any of their representation in government, right? Like whether it is the county commissioner, a justice of the peace, a mayor, a congressman, a president. I hope everybody would be critical or watchful of the things that they do, because you're never going to have a perfect candidate. We're never going to be perfect people, but we should always strive to do better, right? And if there's anyone out there that is just going to be a diehard whoever supporter just because there's an R next to their name or a D next to their name or whatever it is, I would advise them otherwise. Look closely at who it is that you're supporting or what they're standing for or what they're doing whenever there is an office, because talk is cheap, man. It's cheap. We can get on here and say whatever we want. Right? You can go out into the world and say whatever you want. You can make as many promises to the community, whether it's national or state or local, and say what you want. But actions always speak louder than words. And if we're not being watchful on who's representing us and who's doing what, especially prime example, whenever Greg Abbott was coming back around, what was it, a month ago? Greg and Money and Hall, and they were talking about the property taxes, and we were here. We talked about it for a little while with Ryan. And they're saying, we have a plan to lower your taxes, right? All you have to do is vote us in and we'll lower your taxes. But they've been in office for 10 years.
We've been voting you in for years and years and years. And now you have a plan?
Exactly my point. But if you're not critical of your elected representation and you're just saying I support them just because they're red or blue or whatever, let's talk policy. Right? Let's talk about your ability to even perform the job, because there's been a whole lot of rightful criticism of Joe Biden in the past, right? Yeah. Because they thought that he was too old, he was unfit.
I would say this. I would say he earned it, but that didn't do nothing while he was in office. He didn't even earn that.
Right?
He was a napping when they were giving him that.
And that sort of that dialogue and that criticism about can this person do this? What is this person getting done for the country? What are the promises that he made? What are the promises that he's tried to keep? Those sorts of conversations need to always be a part of the rhetoric around political candidates. I'd say this myself everywhere I go, and this is a very very right-leaning district, right? Collin County, Van Zant, Navarro, this Rockwall, right? I say this everywhere I go. Hey, please keep a vigilant eye on what I do. And if I tell you that I'm going to do something, I want you to hold me accountable.
Yes.
Right? I want that same energy from anybody who is critical of supporting me if they've ever voted Republican before, to keep that eye on me, or to reach out to me and say hey, whenever I win this in November, I'm going to be on your ass. I'm going to make sure that you come back around to the community, right? Like you said that you would. Like, so come out to Van or Canton or Grand Saline or to Corsicana and those sorts of places. Because if I just take your donation or take your vote and go into Austin, Texas and do whatever I want with decisions that's going to affect your family, your life, your kids, your grandkids, what does that look like on me?
Accountable.
Right? And if Biden couldn't do the job as well as people had hoped, maybe some people, a lot of folks back in those times, like back when it was that general election cycle, they were just voting for what they thought was the lesser of two evils, right? Mm-hmm. There were people that wish the primaries went another way.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I want people to be critical and have those conversations the same way that they would with Trump to do with Biden or with Harris or with any other candidate, to say these are the things that I like or these are the things that I don't like, because that means that you're paying attention, right? Yeah. Look past the headline and read the article, right? What we've been saying, read. Read. Don't just scroll past the headline. Read.
And please get multiple sources. Don't get all of your information from your echo chamber.
Thank you.
Exactly.
There's nothing worse than a fool that surrounds himself by the like-minded and calls himself educated. That to me is not an educated move. Is when you shelter yourself upon those that share your opinion.
Exactly.
And I am one of those kind of people, as you can tell. I mean, I don't agree with many people, period, because I don't look at it in the same light as a lot of people do. Sure. But I have always been one of those that let's say it how it is, and then once we get that rational discussion, of course, once we get to the point of words mean something and common sense should guide the conversation, then I believe we can go anywhere from there. But when we are two people on opposite sides of the paper and we're pulling this way, that old term, you can't get there from here, becomes into play, and that's when paper starts to rip. And when that paper starts to rip, basically what that is there's an attack on the root system of the tree. And when you get the tree, the roots under the tree, more concerned of starving out the other roots, and so the whole purpose of the roots are to starve out each other, what happens to the tree? It becomes furniture, dude. Because it dies. It becomes kindling. It becomes brush. Everything dies, even the leaves. And that's the one thing that the politicians don't understand is that if you starve out the roots, you're really pretty much cutting your own. You're cutting your own supply system off. And I believe that until that also applies to our liberties, us as voters, if we do not start to look at the big purpose, and that is to feed that tree and keep it healthy. And
actually, matter of fact, let me call out the roots for a second, because I try my best to go all around the district that I'm seeking to represent and have these very real conversations with not just the people that are completely plugged in and a part of a group and know exactly what's going on, but for some folks that might be otherwise disengaged. So if you've ever said the phrase, I don't really do politics, or I don't vote, this is specifically for you. Because if you don't do politics, I promise you politics does you. Like, if you don't care about politics, I promise you politics cares about you.
I know this probably shouldn't be saying it this way, because there's probably some people out there going, oh no. But if you don't do politics is raping you, because it is not. It's not with consent. Inactivity. It is not consent. It is now forced political. So I'm just saying.
So this part is very important for anybody who hasn't been engaged before, because there are many people out there who say that they vote, but it's only once every 4 years for the general, for the president, right? There are so many levels of government that are in between you and your president. It is your justice of the peace. It is your county commissioner. It is your state senator. It is your house rep. It is your congressman. That it's your mayor. These things are coming literally to affect your neighborhood. The people that are in these seats to make these decisions, if you think it doesn't affect you, I promise you it does. And if you don't care about politics, I'm willing to bet that your boss does. I'm willing to bet that your kid's school does. I'm willing to bet that the institutions that are around you care a lot. So all I'm asking you to do is, first off, vote.
Amen.
Vote all the way down the ballot. I'm not saying if you're in Van Zant or any of the surrounding areas, I am not saying vote for Keenan Colbert. I've never said that to anybody. I am asking you to vote wisely. I'm asking you to vote all the way down your ballot, because if it wasn't important, I promise you it wouldn't be on there. And I'm asking you to tell somebody else that you know to do the exact same thing. If you go out and vote early voting for this year's midterms is October 19th to the 30th. If you go out early, it's maybe 5 minutes of your life tops. Maybe. You're in and out. You go in, you show your ID, you get your ballot, you cast your vote, you walk out. On election day, which is November 3rd, there's probably going to be a line, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, usually,
you can
right.
find your polling place. There's plenty of resources online where you can figure out what's on your ballot or where you can go to vote. Google it.
I'm one of
Go
those
to the
resources.
library. Go to vote411.org. It's all there. It takes you seconds. But if you don't care, I promise you it cares about you. And there are many actors in this space that are counting on your inactivity to continue an agenda. And the thing that makes me cautious about that is you don't even know if that agenda is for or against your interest. So make your voice heard, because there are generations of troops and activists that did everything they could to get us to the point to still be able to vote. I don't care how you vote. I care that you vote. My name is just on the ballot, right? Like, if you want to go out and vote specifically against me, that's fine. I'll thank you for it. Thank you for being a participant in democracy. But if you're going to sit around and complain without ever having casted a vote because you don't trust the system or whatever it is, Donald Trump himself took it to court across country, right? There was, in whether you agree or disagree, I 100% agree that you should, if you disagree with like the integrity of an election, you can take it to court and let them decide. But their verdict is final, as it should be, because there is these separations in government. So do something this year, make a plan. If you're watching this on your phone, which I know you probably are, open that calendar app and pick a day between the 19th of October and the 30th of October and say, this is the day I'm going to go vote. Because I don't have the patience for hearing complaints. I don't have the patience for hearing somebody bitch, moan, groan, and complain about a system they do nothing about. Do something about it. You don't like it, do something. You want to make your voice heard? It's not best heard in a comment section or on the phone with your girlfriend or anywhere else. It is heard at the ballot. Cast your vote and be done with it. I'm just a name on your ballot, and I 100% support freedom of the press and exactly what Burt Fight is doing. I 100% support our public education and our public libraries and trying to bring community together. I'm just a name on your ballot. If you don't know who I'm about, COLBERTforTexas.com. There's my little plug right there. You could scan that QR code. You're more than welcome to criticize me all you want. I'm very easy to find online, and I answer to most comments. You can DM me. I promise you'll get a response back. But don't do nothing. I don't care what you support or what your values are. I care that you participate in democracy, because we, the people, is not the generation of the founding fathers way back then. It's everybody right here, right now. And we have to treat it like that.
Yep. And
there's my stump speech. I'm done.
And I want to commend you, like I said, and as anybody can see, I don't take it easy on nobody. We're going to have the good, hard conversations, as I believe we're all grown men, and women, and we can have the honest conversations and still leave out of here. Again, you pointed out you support the channel, even though every time you come in here, I give you I think, like I said, that to me gives the respect level, because you're not going to come in here and just hear a like-minded mouthpiece. You're going to come in here. Bert has sort of the traditional values, and that's where I'm going to be sort of cleated at, and that's where I'm going to be swinging from. And you still come in here. You always reach out to me and say, I'm ready to come back on.
Yeah.
And like I said, to me, that availability and the willingness to come in here and face tough questions, even though I ask them 1,000 times and I ask them pretty pointedly. And yes, I'm trying to trap you because that's what I do. I mean, the police officer that asks you, sir, have you been drinking? And he tells you to get out and take these little sobriety test to prove that you're sober is trying to trap you because he wants to catch you lying to him and get the drunk driver off the road. Ask me how I know this. Anyway, I appreciate you coming out here and facing the abuse. Do me a favor. Let's see. Where's mine?
Ooh.
I want to thank Miss Brandi for bringing the Friends of the Library a gift from the library, so you can tote your books and all that stuff. So we want to thank her. Thank you so much for being on the show with me today. We appreciate all you do for the community.
Do I have like 2 seconds to talk about just piggyback on what he said about voting?
I'll give you 20.
Oh, thank you. So at the public library, we also really just want you to vote. So you can come to the library, you can get a voter registration card, you can see if you are registered to vote, if your registration is still active. You can, we can print you sample ballots so that you can do your research on each candidate and see which platform fits your personal values the best, and have your informed decisions made before you vote. And we can help you find your voting place. We can get you everything you need to get started so that you can go vote. We want you to vote. So, yes, if you need help, please come to the library. We can get you there.
And I send people to the library all the time. Again, we're very blessed to have a public library, number one, and doubly blessed to have someone as active and passionate about the library and the resource that it is behind that desk up there. Thank you so much. And of course, she's always helping me out. It's sort of an inside joke. I call her my little Lois Lane, because anytime I need something newspapery done and I can't make it, I say, you ready to put on your Lois Lane hat? And she says, always.
And I actually have a hat.
Yes, she made a hat that said Lois Lane on the back of it, and she's always
son on the front.
And so, thank you so much for coming in here. Thank you for everything you do. And now it's time to get to our weekly specials and all the people that help make this thing happen. Dude, I'm telling you right now, this is Trax, the home of the two salty broads. And if you've never had JT2 beef, guys, you don't know what you're missing. It is straight from the pasture to the plate. I mean, it is homegrown, taken care of right here in East Texas. Jason Taylor and that whole crew, we know them. They do it right, and it's the best beef around. Special rockin' JT2 roast beef sandwich. And I'm going to read this exactly how it was sent to me. It said, this sandwich may cause spontaneous lunch plans. Our rockin' JT2 roast beef sandwich is piled high with tender, slow roasted beef smothered in melty provolone and served with scratch-made home mac and cheese, a dang good deviled egg, and an ice-cold drink. One bite, and you'll understand why folks keep coming back. And I will tell you right now, guys, if you've ever eaten out over there, my wife, again, love you, babe, she's always said it's more like eating over somebody's house than eating out. It's a cozy place. I know you spend a lot of time. Every time I go in there, it seems like you're dipping out with something in your bag.
Well, it's right across the street.
It literally is right across the street from the library. That's at 100 North Main. Go see the two salty broads. As you cross the train tracks coming from Van, you'll see the mural on the wall. That's the place. Go in there, grab you a seat, and get you some good grub. If you're there and a train comes by and you're first in line, you get a free scoop of ice cream. My buddy Jamie Sherman calls it tootin' a scoop. So y'all go get you a tootin' a scoop and get you some good food and just meet them gals. They're great. They're great people. Go ahead, Bubba. We got Milano's, and I don't know what happened to our menus right there, but you know what? If you can read that, you got better eyes than I do, or you got a bigger TV than I do. But Milano's Pizza, guys, Good pizza, best pizza if you like. Our favorite pizza around there is the chicken Alfredo with jalapeno. My family goes crazy over that stuff. They've got a family special. Y'all go check them out. And yes, that is Corbin moving things around, which is actually a pretty cool effect while everybody's watching it in real time. So, woo, woo, woo. Thank you, Corbin. I know Mama's at work, right? Yeah, Mama at work's over saying, Corbin, quit that. You're making me sick. So y'all go check old Milano's out. Tell them that Bert said hi. Go ahead. We have the East Texas Heroes coming up, and that is going to be August 8th, 2026. We're going to have a booth out there. We're going to be doing live, and we're going to have an empty chair right next to us. So if you want to get a feel of what it's like to co-host this show, feel what old Keenan and Miss Brandon are feeling like right now, you can come out there, sit next to old Bert, and we can have us a little segment. You can let your family take your pictures with you. We're going to have prizes to give away. I know we've got some day passes for Splash Kingdom that we have left. We're going to have some Sonic coupons to give out from the Grand Saline Sonic. So y'all be sure and come out there. There's going to be car shows, swap meets. There's going to be a military show, and we're going to be right in the middle of it, bringing it to you live. It's a free event, but number one, come out there and say thank you to an East Texas hero. If you like what you're seeing right here, you need your floors clean, call Jamie Sherman and Sherman Floor Care. They got a brand new van with even stronger equipment to do a better job. So you guys be sure and give them a call. And if you tell them you saw it on VZTV, they'll give you 20% off of any service that you got. They do air ducts, upholstery, carpet, pet treatments, rugs, tile, grout, furniture. I mean, they can do it all. They do it right. Y'all call Kim and Jamie Sherman. You always see them around VZTV. They've always been a great supporter. Also, Julio over there in Canton. If you're coming in on 17 and at the T of 64, if your brakes fail, you're going to go right into their bay. Of course, you're going to hit some of the rental equipment that stands between you and the bay door, but you will be able to see some of the equipment up close and personal that you could get for a rental fee. But if you go in there and tell them you saw it on VZTV, you get 15% off. And as I tell everybody, you go rent you a backhoe for a few days. That 15% can add up. 903-376-5818. Go see Julio. They were in Sweet D, but if you call him Sweet D, he might give you an extra deal. Y'all come on. We got Roma's Italian Restaurant. Let me tell you something. If you like fine dining, you don't have to go that far. Just come on to Grand Saline. Roma's Italian Restaurant. I mean, that's the lunch specials right there. But, guys, they have a whole layout of good food. Everything from pizza to spaghetti and even more. So y'all go down there and say hi to Dino down there at Roma's in Grand Saline. $7 big meal deal at Sonic. We want y'all be sure and go get that. $7 for that much food. You can't beat it, my friends. Go down to the Grand Saline Sonic and get you that 7 meal deal. Tell them VZTV sent you so they know they invest in wisely. We also coming soon. We're going to have VZTV Golf, and we've got the simulated golf tour started up. Season 1 is already in the planning and in the making. We're going to have coaches versus players. Grand Saline High School coach Corey Hass and Coach Chastain are going to go up against 3 teams of their best players, and that is going to be coming to us in September. So y'all stay tuned for a little bit of coach versus players on the golf simulated tour. Also on the golf side of things, we got the Battle of the Businesses coming on. If y'all can't tell, the VZTV Golf channel is about to take off live and loud and proud. And right now we've got the Battle of the Businesses. Thank you to Eagles Nest Golf Lounge. $3,000 in cash prizes. Come in there if you think that you've got the stick to make it all the way to the top and be the best in business. Come in here, give us a shout, sign up. The flyers on Grand Saline Sun Facebook. You get in touch with me or Ryan. Our telephone numbers are right there. Sign up. You can either be a business owner or send a proxy in your behalf. Come out there. Let's be the see who's the best of the best in business, and right here on VZTV Golf. Also, we do live and breathe by donations and ad support. So if you want to support us through donation purposes, Cash App and Venmo are the 2 ways to go. Right there, scan those codes. And also, that's not up there, I noticed, was the Dairy Bar. We haven't got their weekly specials yet, so we'll get those up there. Probably, I sent her a message. She'll probably be starting today. Y'all go follow the Dairy Bar right there on Facebook. They've got new owners there, and they're keeping the same hometown charm, and they're keeping keeping that that business alive and thriving. That's been something that's been around since I was a kid. It's been a staple in my kids' livelihood, and I want to say thank you to them for staying on board with us, guys. If y'all see the business cards right here on the side, Just Smoke and Vape. I mean, Wills Point Ford, Wills Point Chevrolet. If you see them right there on the side, y'all be sure and support them, because I tell you, they're all Van Zandt County businesses right there. They're all Van Zandt County, and so the people that you see supporting this show, you can support by going out there and just giving them a call. Grand Slice, Glow House, Bobby's over at Big Shots. Guys, we have the people to support us. You guys viewing, y'all support us. We're rocking along. Gone a little bit longer than we expected, but we got a little bit of a late start. I want to say thank you to my guests for being here today. Yeah. I know Keenan will be back. Miss Brandy will be back. This is where the fun happens. And
we only got to 3 yawns so far. That's pretty good.
Well, what's bad is she's had more yawns than she said words throughout the whole thing. Hi, Katie. She is the pretty face on the, my wife says that I'm too ugly to host a show, so we put her up there. She's a sleight of hand. She's the pretty face that keeps everybody from looking at me over here.
Said that.
You don't know what she says to me in private.
Mom texted me and said she looks miserable.
Well, every now and then I can't never tell if she's just sitting there just giving us her normal I'm not really plugged in right now face, or if she's really miserable. I tell her all the time, you don't have to sit there if we've got guests. She says, no, I want to. I figure she's just getting there to wait for that thought to hit her head.
She's mastering her poker face, clearly. Yeah. She's going to take you for everything you got at the table.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, we're going to eventually she'll warm up to the seat, and then she'll be like, Bert, shut up. I got something to say. Until then, I'm just going to ramble on and on and on. We'll never go off air because I'm just going to keep on talking. Just tell me to shut up and end the show, Katie. Tell me to shut up and end the show, Katie.
Shut up and end the show.
All right.